Hi, I'm Lisa Pongrass, the founder of Canvas and Hyde, a luxury bag company out of New York, and you're listening to Chasing Dreams with Amy J.
That was perfect. That was awesome. All right. Hey, Dream Chasers, this is Amy J. And thank you guys so much for tuning to episode 211 of Chasing Dreams. Guys, I have a fun show for you today. Today, I have Lisa Pongrass, the founder and CEO of Canvas and Hyde, a luxury handbag company based in Brooklyn, New York. She is an acclaimed interior designer and fashion stylist in her Australian homeland. Lisa has over 20 years experience that has propelled her to the forefront on fashion and beauty on an international stage. And she is here to share her story. And I'm so excited to hear what she's gone through, how she got to where she is, because I've never met a CEO of a luxury handbag company. So why not meet her together, right? Lisa, how's it going?
Hi, Amy. It's great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much. I know how busy you must be. It's heading into the winter holidays. And so you got to be crazy busy too.
Oh, yeah. Pretty crazy right now with fall deliveries into store. So
Yeah, I'm sure. So thank you so much for joining. I mean, you have done an amazing career. I mean, from the outside, it's like, look at where she's come from, how far she's gone. And I got to ask, from the beginning, at an early age, right, did young Lisa see this coming?
You know, it's so funny. Young Lisa always loved fashion. I mean, I think I was playing with Barbie dolls, dressing them up and making their clothes till I was about 16.
Wow.
All my friends were going to parties and a bit nerdy with fashion. Had an obsession with it
Mm-hmm.
pretty much all the way through my childhood into my teens, and it stayed with me. Yeah.
And did you think that was something that you could do? I mean, as an adult?
No, I mean, I don't think you ever think when you're a kid about what you're going to be a ballerina or a movie star. But it seemed like just a natural progression for me with everything I've ever done, after graduating.
Well, you did interior design for a while. Was that, do you think, given that you enjoyed fashion so much, did that make sense, or did you kind of make some sacrifice to do interior design versus fashion design? Like, what happened there?
I think they're very closely related. I think
Mm-hmm.
that absolute meshing of fabrics and textures and leathers, and so they're very much designing handbags and designing interiors for me feel very complementary and very linked. A lot of the great designers like Giorgio Armani and Bottega Veneta do interiors as well. So there's that natural progression to it.
Yeah. So how long did you do interior design?
Gosh, about 10 years.
So 10 years, you're in an industry, you're enjoying it, you're loving it, right? I'm not putting words in your mouth, right? It sounds like you enjoyed it. Why make the shift?
So I was in a position, I found myself in a position in New York where I needed to start a business,
Mm-hmm.
and coming up with the idea I could have tried to start an interior design company or go to work for an existing company, but starting my own business and working for myself and actually giving birth to a brand just seemed so much more appealing to me at the
Mm-hmm.
time. I mean, that is the dream. Well, it's my dream.
Well, that's awesome, is that, having worked under someone else's thumb, for lack of a better description, right? You kind of took a chance, you pivoted and you went, hey, I'm going to do this. Did you do it with some background of business? I mean, was it jumping in with your eyes closed? What was that like, going down this avenue of uncertainty?
So if totally blind, I guess,
Mm.
looking back at the time that I started it, how difficult could it be was what I asked myself. Looking back, I can say there were a lot of things that I didn't know anything about. I didn't know about importing. I didn't know about fish and wildlife licenses. I didn't know about using certain materials and constructing a bag or manufacturing. I didn't know a lot of things, but I had a pretty open mind, and I was a more mature woman, so I thought I had a lot of experience. I didn't have probably enough experience in business. The the numbers, working the numbers. I wasn't, I'll be honest, I needed help with that. But you can't be good at everything, right?
Absolutely not. And you know what? Kudos to you for admitting you weren't good at everything, got help for it, because some people will just struggle and just suffer all the way down. And you're like, well, that seems silly. Could have gotten help for that.
I remember one of the wealthiest men in Australia, Kerry Packer. He's no longer with us, but he used to say one of the secrets of his success was surrounding himself with people who knew more than him about whatever venture he was undertaking, and he had the money to do that. And yeah, that stuck with me always.
Yeah, I've heard a variation of that, which is if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is true, right? I mean, because otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to be helping everyone else instead of getting help. And so did you have a resource aside of someone to help you with the numbers, to kind of a mentor, advisor to help you with this new thing?
I've been very lucky that living in Brooklyn and in Manhattan, from the day that I started this,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even explain how, but a series of angels have come into my life and helped me through it. I feel like it was almost, they were instrumental in the foundations of helping me through this. Someone comes to mind, a girl by the name of Jenny Dawes.
Mm-hmm.
She was instrumental in helping me set everything up when I started. She was great. She lives in Paris now, sadly. She's chasing her dreams in Paris.
Hey, I'm all for it. Well, sadly that she's in Paris, I support it, you know?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, as someone who has kind of established yourself, you're looking back, is there anything you would have changed? Because oftentimes people say, oh, nothing. You know, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the mistakes, which is true. But if you could change something, what would you do?
I changed a lot of things, actually.
Really?
I would definitely change. I was a little impulsive in the beginning, and probably in order to get discounts with volume of buying materials, I maybe overstocked, and then I had materials sitting that I didn't need. And then looking back, I probably would do that a little differently. Definitely keeping track of numbers, sales and figures, and being more detail oriented in admin, which is something I hate as a designer. And
I was going to say, people tend to ignore the administration of things.
Yeah, it's my worst. I hate it, but I know it's a necessary evil, definitely in running a business.
Yeah.
Just knowing exactly where everything is at all times.
So as you were doing this and you're growing and you're doing it by yourself, right? What point did you decide, hey, I need to bring some other people on?
So from the beginning, I had other people always, and I've always outsourced the things that I don't know a lot about. I mean, one of the things I don't mind telling your listeners is that I'm not very good technically on the computer. I just missed that. I'm just that little bit too old, and I don't have that computer brain. So I always get other people to help me with line sheets or lookbooks or inventory spreadsheets and things like that, because I'm not great at that.
You know, knowing what one's weakness is a strength, because otherwise you could be the one that just is like, I shot myself in the foot. Oh, I should get someone to do something about that. But you don't. So I think that's a strength, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the people that I deal with, I just value them and work for me. I really, really value them a lot.
So given that you've worked with a team from the beginning and you've kind of established yourself with a group of people who've kind of come up with you, it sounds like, right? What is it though that you look at on this journey and were surprised by? I mean, you had to have some kind of expectations, but what surprised you about it?
It surprises me often and still every day how much people want you to succeed and how positive people are in this country about helping you, because the great American dream is something that people aspire to. So on my journey, I felt that people want to almost help me get there, because it means that there's room for them to get to that point. It's just, that's been a beautiful thing that I've seen, a really positive thing in building this business.
I am surprised a little bit about that. I mean, I would love that. I'm glad that's your answer.
Yeah.
But, so many people are afraid that people are against them, that it's all about the competition. And, to hear your answer, I'm like, hey, guys, there's room for everyone, apparently.
Well, I don't know if this is PC to say this, but most of the people I deal with are women. A lot of the women that I deal with are older. They're career pivoting themselves, or they're women who've had children who've grown up, they're empty nesters. And they're so supportive. I mean, some of my stores, the women who run and own them have become my closest friends. My manufacturer is not a woman, but is probably one of my biggest supporters in building a brand. And there are days that I think I just can't do it anymore. And I get emotional and I get into the factory and it's all too hard. And my manufacturer says, you're doing all the right things. Hang in there. It's good. You're getting there. You're getting there. Because it's a struggle sometimes. But then I remember, and today I spoke to a beautiful woman that I met who makes jewelry, Nan Fusco. And I met at a trunk show in a store that we're in Dallas. And she has then got our brand into 3 stores that she knows just because she loves what we're doing and loves me. It's just beautiful support. So I, in turn, have introduced her to people. And I don't know, there's this beautiful feeling of networking. I like it. There's enough for everyone.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what you want to happen. That's exactly what you want to hear. Yeah. I just don't hear that often.
Every day. Don't get me wrong.
Fair enough. That's a valid point. Because I think people are afraid if I reach out, then it's a nick for knack or tit for tat kind of thing. It sounds like it doesn't have to be. It's just supporting one another to rise together.
Well, I mean, there's not a quid pro quo of you do this for me and
right.
You for me. But, if someone like this lovely woman introduced me to stores and in return, I when the time was right and I happened to be in a store that was perfect for her, I mentioned her. And yeah, I think, I think when you're also a little more experienced and at a certain age, you're not as threatened by everything around you. What happens will happen.
Yeah, and that's an awesome mindset to have, frankly, because one, that's what networking is about. That is the importance. I think you're showing exactly what people want to come out of networking. Is you don't just pitch someone for the sake of pitching, but this is right. I know someone for it. They're in my network. Let me connect you. Mm-hmm. And that's fantastic.
I have to tell you, we're in, Canvas and Hyde is in 23 stores. Most of those stores are a direct result of someone that I've met or a referral from someone who knew someone, not cold calling or sending an email or doing a trade show or any of that, just through people telling people about us.
Wow.
That's proof itself.
Yeah.
That it works, that people are kind. Sometimes.
I love that. Yes, sometimes, but people are kind. That's a great takeaway.
Yeah.
So as you've been kind of figuring this out, you talked about earlier that you've had moments where you've wanted to quit. We have people who chase dreams and struggle, when they hit those rough patches. What did you do when you kind of faced that? And I'm sure it's more than once. Like, what's your, not go-to, but how do you handle that?
I think on that journey, and that happens to me quite often. I mean, things happen every day that are challenging. Maybe not every day, but every week there's a challenge. And how do I get through this? How do I navigate what's going on? I think being kind to yourself is great. I mean, I take a bath and I light candles and I put beautiful Epsom salts in and a glass of white wine in the bath. That, for me, that's like a reward for a hard day and getting through a challenge. I think those small little things help me. And remembering that whatever it is that you're doing, I'm running a handbag business and trying to sell bags to people in America. there are people in the world who are starving. There are people with no water. What we're doing is great, but I'm not saving lives. I'm not feeding
Sure.
the homeless. So I think not taking yourself too seriously is a really important thing. And all of our problems are really pertinent at the time, but just looking at the bigger picture
Sure.
of our lives on this planet, that helps me a lot, because I'm like, oh, I can't do it anymore. And I think, wait a minute, I'm so lucky. Look where I live. And then I get through it.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a few things there that I want to unpack. One, the idea of self-care. That is fantastic. I mean, everyone's different, but the fact that, your go-to is self-care, I mean, the time we're recording this, it's Mental Health Awareness Week. And so I'm huge on mental health and just taking care of yourself. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
And how important that is. And then two, it sounds like you have a healthy way of looking at things, because that's also important. To your credit, we're not saving lives.
No.
And even this podcast isn't saving lives.
Well, you might.
Maybe. But to that point, that putting things in perspective does, I think, help. I think we freak out over.
Oh, we do.
So easily.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like a trigger, but it's hard to turn it off at the same time.
It is hard. It is hard. And especially it's hard if you haven't seen it, if you've never traveled. And, I've traveled a lot. So I've spent time in Africa and India and Asia. And, I've seen life at its best and its worst. So remembering that really helps. Yeah.
So as someone who is a business owner and family woman, how do you balance work life? Like, has that been easy? Has one suffered over the other over the years? Like, for those who are kind of considering that, what do you do? How did it work for you?
So I was a single mom for 4 years, and my daughter was at home, and it was high school and then trying to get into college, which if anyone has done it knows is a stressful time. So building a brand and going through that was kind of difficult to juggle. But again, it's putting everything into perspective. I will say that I did sit on my computer oftentimes in bed till midnight. And then because I also deal with Italy, I would wake up very early to have phone conversations because they're
time difference
ahead.
Right.
And then I'm from Australia, so then I'd be talking to family at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night. So there's a lot of that. Sleep, what was that? Yeah, sleep. Balancing, everyone's different. I'm an empty nester now, so I found before I was able to balance a lot better because I had to. I needed help with homework or dinner ready or her washing done or her room clean. Now the balance is more tricky because I'm on my own, so
you don't have a counterbalance.
Exactly, it's all work. And then sometimes I think, oh, wait a minute, it's the weekend.
Wait, it's evening? When did that happen?
Yeah. Oh, it's dark already.
I should eat something, right?
I used to cook a lot and I loved it, but cooking for someone is so different to cooking for yourself. Boring now. I don't want to cook for myself. So I don't eat as well anymore.
It's a struggle. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons people don't chase their dreams is they don't feel that they could manage the two things that they're juggling. And so, I mean, I think you find a way. It does involve sacrifice, like your sleep, for example, but at least you could spend time with your daughter.
But I will say for anyone wanting to chase their dreams, there's something so innately rewarding and it's very difficult to even articulate it and put it into words about having a little success, or whether it's a tiny milestone or a huge order into a big store. It's the biggest high that you've ever had when it's for something that you're chasing for yourself. I'm sure working for a corporation and achieving things is wonderful, but when it's yours, there's nothing like it. That propels you to get up the next day. And boredom, that's a thing of the past. I don't think I I just don't even know how it can be October.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that, because there is something about the rush of working on your dreams. I think I have a day job. And so there was a time last week that I did not have any time to chase my dream. I was daytime work, daytime in the evening work. It was just work, work, work. And I realized, one, when I don't get to work on my dreams, if I don't get to do a little bit, even just a little bit, it drains me. Actually chasing my dream and giving myself time to do it relaxes me. It's my own version of self-care, and everybody's different. Some of you may be like, that's weird. It's not actually, because like you said, even the smallest progress, the smallest success is like a high. It's such an adrenaline rush,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's so exciting that this week when I finally got to get back to it, I was like, man, life is good. Life is great. So now I try to make time just for even like a half hour of working on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I completely relate to that. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah. And guys, join us in that feeling of elation to chase our dreams. It's fun. It's exciting. And, let me ask you something, because this is something I've been debating recently. It's goals versus journey and in chasing your dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you created this company.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a goal for you where you're going to say, hey, now I've made it, this is it? Or is it about the process and the journey of this company overall?
So there's definitely a goal. And isn't it funny when you talk about chasing your dreams?
Mm-hmm.
For me, my dreams keep mutating. They keep changing and evolving, I guess, and growing. So, the dream was to start the brand. And I guess, honestly, I probably didn't think it through enough. Like, okay, so I start a brand and I'm in all these stores, and then I get bigger, and then I scale, and then what?
Yeah.
But then after that was achieved, the dream one day I'd love to have a store in Manhattan, a flagship store, and then I would love to sell internationally. So, the dream can just be as big as you can make it. The goal is to have a brand that is sustainable and luxury and elegant and timeless, that people love, and synonymous with style and timeless elegance, that everyone recognizes. That would be.
Sure. See, and that's awesome. To me, that sounds like a long-term goal or short-term, depending on how you achieve it, with milestones that you're kind of working towards.
Right.
And because the thing that I think people are so focused on is only the goal, that they lose themselves to forget what the journey is like. And it just becomes robotic almost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it sounds like you are kind of living your journey, one, going through it, but you're also adapting, evolving it. And so you don't know where it's going to take you. And at the same time, you're still chasing that one goal, that one notoriety, recognizability, acknowledgement. And, if you get it, when you get it, it'll be awesome. It'll be amazing. But at the same time, I think you're doing it right in that you're enjoying the journey of it at the same time. And I think that's what's the dichotomy.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. There is an element of fear associated with that all the time. Like, what if it fails? What if there's another financial crisis in the world and no one wants beautiful luxury handbags? What if someone copies my bags? What if one of the majors makes exactly what I'm making better? There is that. I do wake up and worry about things like that. But, I can't do anything about it. So,
but you're still doing it. That's the thing. It sounds like you're embracing that fear. You're not letting it stop you, but you're going to keep going.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, you talk about how more mature woman who has kind of started this company. A lot of people are in different phases of the journey. Some are young, some are in a mid-age state, right? Whatever. What would you say to someone who's struggling to change or pivot, but they're just not happy where they are currently?
So I would say that the clock's ticking. I wish that I had done this 10 or 20 years ago. One of the things about most dreams, I guess, is that physically I mean, my business takes a lot of physical exertion. I'm, lifting hides, I'm pulling out leathers, I'm lifting boxes and a lot of different things that take a lot of effort. And sometimes, honestly, in the morning, my back just like, oh,
Manual labor. It's
I'm
a
not
thing.
25 anymore. And I guess that's with any dream. The younger you do it and start it,
Mm-hmm.
there it is.
But would you say that it's too late for someone? Because that's the other thing that people seem to struggle with is, it's too late for me. Why bother? Hey, Lisa, you still with us? Hey, Lisa? Lisa, you there? Nope. Hey, so Lisa, I was asking, what is it that people who think it's too late for them, how would you respond to that?
Oh my gosh. It's never too late. It's just never too late. I think I was 47 when I started this business. So, I mean, is that too late? Most of my contemporaries are thinking about cruising with their husbands because they're empty nesters. And I decide to start a brand. I think that, look, whilst it's much better to be younger because you have that physical capability, you're also, when you approach a problem with a wealth of experience at our age, you approach it a little differently, and that has its advantages. You're a little more cautious, a little more level-headed. I don't know, there are advantages to being older and starting it later. And who wants to die not having done it?
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
I'm allowed to talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, because that's a real thing. So I never understood why people wait to take their vacations, right? Wait till I retire. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, unfortunately, but what if something were to happen before you could retire?
I know. Well, also, I think it's a function of your upbringing as well. It's so funny. People talk about fashion, and my father was quite religious. So I would go to church and Sunday school every Sunday growing up. And I had an outfit for Sunday school that I was able to wear, a beautiful dress, beautiful shoes. But the minute we got home, we took it off and didn't wear it again until next Sunday.
Following. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I always grew up thinking that you had to have good clothes and then normal clothes. And now I'm like, sod that. Clothes are meant to be worn. Everything is for every day. So I've gotten out of that pattern of behavior. But I think people are a function of their culture, their upbringing, their parents, their financial position, I guess, at the time.
Sure. No, I think all of that's absolutely true. 100%. I mean, that's one of the reasons we started the show, is to kind of fight or show people that you don't have to be
stuck in a rut.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly it. You don't have to be. So Lisa, it is time to get to know you just a little bit better.
Ooh, okay.
Are you ready?
These are the 5 questions.
These are the questions. Now, before I do that, how can these lovely folks get to know you, find you, contact you? Where's the best place to go?
Best place is my website, which is Canvas and Hyde, HYDE.com.
Awesome. All right. The questions are here.
And Instagram as well, I guess.
Yeah. What's your Instagram?
Canvas and Hyde.
So simple, guys. Those will be on the show notes, though, in case you guys didn't pick it up. It will be on the show notes. All right. We got 5 questions to get to know you just a little bit better. Just going to mix it up. All right. I feel like you answered this one like in the middle of one of those questions. So I'm going to choose again. All right. Number 1. Who was the best James Bond?
Oh, Roger Moore. spy who loved me. Absolutely.
No, there was no hesitation. None. I was going to say Sean Connery.
Yeah. No,
Potato, potato.
He's great, but Roger Moore, I've had a crush on since I was about 8.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. That's your answer. That's fair. Number 2.
Did you see The Spy Who Loved Me?
Yes, it was good. I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was classic. It's just, I like Sean Connery. That's
okay.
all.
You're allowed.
Which childhood friend would you like to reconnect with?
Oh. Do you know, my oldest friend, meaning not old, but that I've known since I was
longest,
told me this morning. She lives in Tuscany, Christina.
Get out of here.
So I don't, and in fact, I have another girlfriend living in Vietnam, Karen. Like, I'm friends with all my childhood friends. So there's no one that I haven't kept in touch with that I would like to.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah. And I'm really proud of that, actually.
I think you should be. I mean, that's a nice way to answer that question.
I live in America and they live all around the world. So we don't even live on the same continent.
Which is even more impressive, but given the fact that you sacrifice sleep, not surprising.
That's probably why.
You're like, sleep, who needs that?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3. Number 3? Yeah, I think it's number 3.
Okay.
Would you rather have more time or more money?
More money.
That's fair.
Having a startup that's self-funded means that, you're more difficult.
I feel like you're more cognizant of the money, right? It's just a part of you that's like, I know this.
I said to someone that I feel like I have 1 pizza and 10 children who are all screaming to be fed.
You know what, guys? That is the best description of a solopreneur that I've ever heard. That is, yes. It was a single pizza with 10 mouths to feed. Yeah, that's what it's like.
Yeah, and sometimes you're like, oh, no, you only get half a piece. But you need 2 pieces.
No.
Don't take solids off.
And then they take it and you're like, oh, man, now what do I do?
Damn. And no, you go without.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to switch this question because I didn't like it. All right. What's your most favorite pair of shoes you've ever owned?
Oh. Oh, wow. That's probably Todd's. I love wearing Todd's.
Okay.
Super comfy and, oh, wait. Can I go and look at my wardrobe?
We're going to trust the answer. We'll go with Todd's. They are comfy.
Yeah. Isn't that sad that I didn't say something like Louboutin or something really high and sexy? No.
No. I think you went with comfort, and I respect you for that.
I went with comfort.
I respect you for that.
Thank you.
Number 5? I think it's 5. All right. What's the most unusual thing you've done lately?
Wow.
I know it's going to take a second. You got to think about it.
Yeah, I need to think about it. The most unusual thing I've done lately. Oh, I know.
What'd you do?
I just went to Scotland for a girlfriend's birthday, and we went and picked plums off the trees, plums, cherries.
Oh, wow.
It was just fantastic on this beautiful estate about 3 hours out of, what did we fly into? Oh my gosh, why have I got a mental blank? Edinburgh, out of Edinburgh. So it was beautiful. That was the most unusual thing I've done, is just to go to this estate and
pick fruits.
Pick fruits, pick eggs. There were chickens running around.
Oh my goodness.
They did have a duck hunt that I didn't participate in, but I was a spectator because that's what they do.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd say that's unusual, but very cool at the same time.
Super cool.
Very nice. All right, I got one question to ask you before I let you go.
Yeah.
For all the dream chasers that are listening, right, and having chasing your dream still,
yeah.
What is one lesson you've learned that you would impart upon them today?
if I could sit down and chat to all the people that are stuck in a rut and wanting to do something that they've always dreamed of doing, I would probably say you're stronger, smarter, and better than you think you are. You'll surprise yourself if you do it.
I love that. I love that because you're right. None of them would believe you. Or they wouldn't think that until you told them, right? I mean, they'd be doubters until they heard you say that.
Well, I think that's the reason people don't do the things that they want to do and chase their dreams, is just self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know until you start chasing something how strong you are and how much you can actually achieve.
Absolutely.
I've done that about myself. I just never thought I would be able to do half the things I've done.
And you've been surprised by it.
Very. There's an expression very similar to what you said before, and it's the chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. And habit just takes over your life. Got to break it.
I love that.
Yeah, I thought you would.
I love that. That's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally love that. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your story, being honest with these guys. Loved every minute of it.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. You're so easy to talk to.
Thanks. So guys, do be sure to check out the show notes over on amyj21.com/episode 211. You can find all the information about this episode, more about Lisa, and how to reach out to her on the show notes page. And you guys have a fantastic week. Till next time, keep chasing.